Hi everyone, I'm Erin, and this is That's So Random. My cousin is getting married, hopefully. With everything going on, let's just hope. She's supposed to get married in October, actually on Halloween. So I wanted to make a dress to wear to the wedding, and I found this pattern, but it's not exactly what I want. So it's this pattern. I like the off-the-shoulder version that's actually on the model. But the only thing, it's a short dress, and since it'll be October, I want to have a long dress. My plan is over multiple videos showing how I lengthen the pattern to make a longer dress and the trials and errors that I go through. Yeah, so stick around. So the first thing I do is I take down the bodice pieces and tracing out the size 10. This is gridded wrapping paper that you can get from the dollar store. And I made sure to add all the notches. And later I'll start adding the notches on the outside to make sure that I don't cut into the fabric. And I also add where the points for the darts. I add grain line, I add where center back is. I like to keep my finger on the line of the actual pattern to help follow the pen along that line. So now I'm taking a measuring tape and going from roughly my waistline, which I measured at my belly button, all the way down to the floor. And it's set for 29 inches, but when I go to do the pattern, I'm going to set it for 40 for seam allowance. So I go from the waistline and I go down to 40 inches to mark where that is. And there I realized that I went on the wrong part of the grid. And just repeating the same with the back panel of the skirt. And here I go to adding for the sleeve because I wanted to see what it would look like if I added a long sleeve instead of the bell sleeve. which I don't think it's a bell sleeve. I think it's a ruffle. But I didn't really originally like that sleeve, so I wanted something that was a lot more tight-fitting, so I traced out the top of the sleeve that comes with the pattern. So now I'm bringing in a sleeve pattern that I have for a jacket and just using that to trace the rest of the sleeve to make it a long sleeve. And being thrifty, I just had a piece of wood for another project laying around and I used that as a straight edge. And going back and making sure that I added the notches for lining up the sleeve. So this was the scrap fabric that I had laying around, and I figured out how I needed to lay it out to get all the pieces on there and still get enough for the pattern. And since I only wanted to figure out for the sleeve and it was a mock-up, I just only made one sleeve. And at the time I didn't know that I had extra fabric, and this was just some dyed fabric that I had done in a fiber dyeing class that I had taken. It's naturally dyed. So here I'm taking a pencil and poking through the pattern pieces to mark for the darts. And because it's a mock-up, I just kind of sketched in willy-nilly, didn't really think about it. And because it's also a mock-up, I didn't mind using a pencil instead of chalk or an erasable marker. So how I like to pin my darts, I like to go to the 2 points, the 2 dots at the bottom, and make sure that the needle goes through that, and then pull the top point of the dart and create that line and pin that way. Here's a more top view with the top of the bodice. And just a repeat of what I've been doing on the side dart. So starting at the base of the dart, I start at the 2 dots and work my way to the close to the top dart, but I like to go a little farther in and then walk my needle up to the edge and go up sideways, up along the fold of the dart to the top. I did this to all the pieces that had darts in it, top front, top back, and the skirt. And then I followed the instructions to push the darts in the directions that they needed to go, so either center back, center front, or pointing down. And here I'm sewing up the top band that connects the bodice to the sleeves. And here it is on how the sleeve gets attached with the U. I went really careful around the U to make sure not to get anything caught because it's a very tight fit. And then here it is without a strap, because I also wanted to see what it looked like without a strap to see if that would have looked better than having a full long sleeve. And then here I am pinning side seams together, darts together, which it didn't line up at first, but again, it's a mock-up, so it helps to learn how to do the pattern before actually using good fabric. So here I'm attaching the skirt to the bot and the bodice together. Okay, basted in a zipper to get it on, and I noticed the top is just too big, but the hips are too small. I don't like the flare of the skirt. I think it could be maybe a little bit more, thinking of putting like a triangle back here. Yeah, it's the up here needs elastic, so it's a little big either way. I do like it with the one sleeve. It will help both sleeves, but I like it with the one. So I'm gonna go back and do a smaller top with the smaller waist but bigger hips, and also designed for the back. So, as I showed in the video, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, plus at the time I didn't have the fabric to create the longer length skirt for the mock-up. So I got new fabric. I'm going to start working on that. Definitely am excited to see how it looks. Still haven't gotten to what kind of fabric. Definitely want it to be blue. So if you want to see more of that, stick around.